chick, you can book with me if you wanted to. These expensive, these is passports, international shoes. Hit the resorts, I can stay at both. I don't wanna choose, and I'm quick to switch my room up, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't gotta work, I make travel moves.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. MomBossMayo is in the building. Thank you for joining. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like. And if you're interested in more videos like this, just leave it in the comments below and I can do those reactions as well. But let's get right into this video. So today, if you read the title, you will see that we are going to be talking about the Trump hotel shooter, who is also the ex-slave of P. Diddy, Jonathan Oddie, that is his name. The guy, that we saw running around the Trump Towers, shooting up the Trump Towers, and everybody was like, what is going on? What is this guy on? And then, in the interrogation room, we learned some things about, some things he said about Trump and, some things that he told us about P. Diddy and some things that he did with Cassie. If you didn't hear that, or if you've just been under a rock and don't know that the P. Diddy trial is currently going on day 3, then I'm here to update you on all that information. So yes, like I said, we're going to be talking about Jonathan Oddie, who basically proved or confirmed that P. Diddy gave him the earth. Yes, put an H in front of it. And also, we're also going to talk about Jonathan Oddie's lawyer wife, ex-wife, who was also a corrupt lawyer. And we're going to deep dive into that and her connection with Diddy, because I'm thinking, she has some connection there as well. And this settlement that Jonathan received from P. Diddy, he was ordered to sign an NDA because some of those things that he was doing with Diddy, of course, Diddy didn't want those things to get out. So, he signed the NDA. That NDA has been released. I'm going to show you guys the NDA. Shout out to Tisha Tales, because that's where I received the NDA from. I haven't seen it anywhere else. Well, at least I haven't been able to find it from doing my research, but I am going to show you guys that NDA. So yes, wow, going on. A lot has been going on. I know they had the jury selection. I know they have like some jurors on standby in case some other jurors don't pan out. But it's just been a lot, a lot of distractions going on, things going on in the world that's trying to distract us and trying to keep our mind off of the Diddy trial. But no, our mind is on it, because it is time to expose these ungodly people that are worshiping demons and devils. So we're going to get right on into it. So the first thing that I'm going to show is we're going to look at just a snippet of the gentleman Jonathan Oddie running through the Trump Towers. Like, this has literally been like almost 2.5 years in the making, because like I said, people were calling this man crazy, was saying, oh no, there's no way P. Diddy was involved, like, no, all that. And then now all this stuff has come true. They like to call us conspiracy theorists, liars, but really we're just truth tellers. And all of that's going to come out. Houses in Virginia, if you know what that means, take the first letter of each word. NDAs, we have all type of stuff going on. So the first video, like I said, that I'm going to show is, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so yes, the trial, we're on day 3. I'm a little behind. I was supposed to do this video yesterday, but I'm bringing it to you today. So yes, the first part, like I said, I'm going to show you guys the video of him running through Trump, towers, acting deranged, and then we're going to go from there. go. I'm going to show you just the beginning. This is the beginning that we're going to watch first.
Stormy's story is bad news because it's embarrassing. That's why he's going crazy with that. It's not that he's lying to the American people. He's embarrassed about Stormy's situation. Okay.
So you don't have
Family in the United States?
yeah.
Just my dog Bubbles. My
Just your
dog.
dog?
Yeah. Diddy and Ross, which they're good buddies. Okay. They're gay.
Who?
Both Diddy and Ross and Khaled, they're all gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross,
Yeah.
and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Khaled is a Hamas supporter.
So
Okay.
who supporter?
Hamas.
Hamas. Yeah. Gotcha.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
No worries.
Hamas supporter.
All
Okay. I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate, tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot.
Oh, hidden in plain sight.
It's hidden.
I think I see what you're saying.
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy,
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call yourself
Yeah.
these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule
Boule.
is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
It's the black people. Okay. I'm from Africa, so I'm not a racist.
Okay.
Okay, you my brother, so I like black people.
Okay.
My mom, I was raised by an African woman in my house. Okay. She was just a servant, but she was she took care of me.
Right.
So I love black people.
Okay.
I had settlement with Sean, okay, against Donald Trump, okay, because he used to belong to their side. You understand? He used to belong to that eliminated group that I told you about, which is an elite group, okay, of individuals which run the whole country. All right. Basically, what I did you tell him did you explain him about the message? Or
Please. Elaborate.
On Thursday, turning to Friday, basically, I went to Donald Trump. I went through the gates. I took I jumped the fence. And I took the American flag. I put it in the front desk, and I blew the chandelier. Basically, what I did that for is to transmit a statement to the American people and to Donald Trump that we're not accepting any more corruption and abuse from their system of friends. Okay. Donald's still blind because he thinks that he let Hillary off the hook and she's okay. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm trying. Okay. Keep going.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it right there to catch you guys up. So basically that was him running through the hotel, shooting, through Trump Towers, with the alarms and stuff going off. And then now this is him actually in the interrogation room, being interrogated. He's just telling the cops all type of information as far as like why he jumped over the, fence for the Trump Tower or whatever the Doreo Hotel, whatever he was shooting up. And the message that he was trying to send, and he goes on to talk about Hillary and then some more stuff. But basically, this guy in the court, basically, the NDA was either leaked or he released it. I'm not sure exactly how the NDA was exposed. But basically, he has told that Diddy, like I said, gave him the ERP. And then with me doing a little more research, I found out not only was, because he had a wife at the time, he met Diddy when he started his escapades. And I'm thinking once the wife got in trouble for doing some felony type, illegal type things as a lawyer, that messed up their finances, and he had to get into being doing the X stuff, more. And with him having to do that, this word led him to being a slave, So now what I'm going to read to you guys is a bit of the affidavit, as far as a bit of the affidavit, like the court, the disposition, not the affidavit, I'm sorry, the disposition on P. Diddy, so you can see like what he's being charged with, what the charges are. And we're not going to read the full thing. If you want me to read the full 14 pages of the indictment, let me know, leave it down in the comments, and I can do that on another video. But today we're just going to read just this first page, maybe a little bit of the second page, just to get an idea of what he's actually being charged with. Okay, so it says United States District Court, Southern District of New York, United States of America versus Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, as the defendant. This is a sealed indictment, but we have the information. So count one was racketeering conspiracy. So it says the grand jury charges for decades Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, the defendant, abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whom members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, the defendant, operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Entertainment, and Combs Global, collectively the Combs Business. Corporate entities in the Combs business included, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcohol spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. Okay, so at all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, I'm not going to read all those names he got, the defendant, engaged in a persistent and persuasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. Why would they just say men instead of say other individuals? Just say men. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and other actings at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial ex-workers to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same and using intimidation and violence. So I'm going to read a little bit more and then I'm going to stop here. So it says physical abuse by Sean Combs was recurrent and widely known on numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years. Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or around March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs dragged, kicked, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff to ensure their silence. Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others. Okay, so we're going to stop right there as far as talking about, the charges. So basically, as you can see, racketeering, kidnapping, X charges, trafficking, all types of things he is currently being charged with. And so now, before we get back into what the gentleman was saying, because basically, like I said, when it first came out, it was all like, oh my god, this former stripper went on a rant and had a shootout with cops at the Trump Golf Resort and said he was charged. This was back in 2018, but mind you, this man has not been charged with anything. So I don't know if he's in witness protection plan. I'll say protection plan. If he's in witness protection or what. But what I can tell you is that he has definitely not been charged. And I do know in the state that he lives in that once you I think haven't been charged for 5 years, then they have to like dismiss the charges. So I think this man is actually in protective custody after all the information that they received. But back in 2018, because that's how long ago this happened, this is what they were saying about him. They were basically saying former stripper who went on rent and had a shootout with cops at the Trump Golf Resort was charged. Said the former Miami stripper who broke into the Trump National Doral Resort, where he caused a scene by ranting about Donald Trump and former President Barack Obama, placed an American flag in the lobby, and allegedly shot a police officer, has been formally charged. Jonathan Oddie, 42, is a real estate investor, a self-described fitness instructor, and a manager at a gemstone and mineral store called Pegasus. In addition to being a former stripper and pornographic actor. So originally from South Africa, Oddie grew up in Argentina and eventually moved to Florida. He was charged with attempted murder of law enforcement officers on burglary and armed grand theft. He has no prior felony arrest and a few traffic, infractions. Like I said, police took him down by shooting him in the leg at the time. He shot at the chandelier. He ranted about P. Diddy, Trump rhetoric, and he also said a lot of things about Obama that I want you guys to hear. But basically, like I said, he obviously was not charged with anything because he's testifying in this case and he's not in jail. So that's that part. So now you're probably like, well, let's talk about this wife. Right. Because what happened is his wife is speaking out now, basically saying, that after, he on this spree, he allegedly had a settlement from P. Diddy of $5 million. But he didn't get that settlement. Like, it took a while for him to get the settlement. And, I do believe that people will, try to string you along thinking, that you won't fight for the money at the end, after you've been awarded this money. So his wife basically claims that he went on this spree of, buying up properties and stuff like that. But this happened, but he didn't get the money until after their divorce. So she didn't get any money. So now she's speaking out and claiming that she thinks that he had this done on purpose, as far as like to get the money after their divorce was final, so he wouldn't have to give her any money. But like I said, after doing some research and going to other people's channel, I saw that she is a lawyer, but she also was a corrupt lawyer. She's in good standing right now, but in her past, and I'm going to show you the connections, she definitely was a corrupt lawyer. So basically, like I said, on this story, they're saying that he went from basically wait a minute, this is this one right here. I'm gonna show you this. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention to those dates. So 2014 was when he filed for divorce, and 2018 was when he did the rant. But I want you to follow along the divorce, when he got the money and all that. Oh no. So basically it's a alleged Trump derailed gunman Jonathan Oddie went from dead broke to property buying spree in 1 month. So like I said, this was published May 18th, 2018. So mind you, this was right after or right before let's see, when did he do this? I'm trying to see exactly when he did this. I'm not sure. But basically it's saying like he, went on a spree. So I'm gonna read some of the thing. So it says, when his 6-year marriage dissolved in 2014, the accused have a net worth of negative 1,800. He was maintained as a self-employed fitness trainer. He swore in a financial affidavit filed in the Miami-Dade Circuit Court, and his debt outpaced his assets. But less than a month after his divorce from attorney Tanya Troutwin, he launched a buying spree of distressed property, $765,000 for 5 properties over a 2-month period, according to Miami-Dade County property records. And records show none of the properties were purchased with a mortgage, suggesting they were a cash purchase. So it says, so South Florida News, Channel 6, because that's where I'm getting this information from, says, so where did the fitness trainer who was worse than flat broke in 2014 acquire enough cash in September 2014? He was flat broke in August, but in September 2014, he was able to start buying properties that were headed for foreclosure. So a lawyer for Oddie and his ex-wife will not comment beyond reacting to Oddie allegedly drawing police into the lobby of the Trump Derail Resort with fire, only to be shot himself by one or more of the 5 responding officers. They are looking into all possibilities and everything that prompted this event and what occurred during the event, said the attorney. Police records reveal Oddie and his now inactive real estate firm, Oddie Investments, do not currently own a property in Miami-Dade, but beginning on September the 5th, 2014, and be ending on October the 30th, 2014, he bought 5 properties that were otherwise headed for $57,000 to a Bayshore Drive condo in Miami, for which he paid $455,000, and where he apparently lived for some of the next 2 years. The property purchased for a total of $765,300 and transferred from him to his company, and them sold within 18 months to 2 years for a total of $934,000. So y'all probably like, where did he get this money? Y'all heard him in that interview, and that was to keep him quiet. And you're probably like, okay, what did he receive a settlement from Diddy for? What did he receive a settlement for? Because Diddy gave him the earth. And that's also why he signed the NDA. He signed the NDA to get the $5 million to be quiet, pretty much. And I'm going to show you guys that. So out to the Daily Mail, and I'm not going to subscribe to the Daily Mail, so I'm just going to read you this top part, because like I said, they like to call us conspiracy theorists, liars, when all we're doing is just telling the truth. So basically what it says is, Trump hotel shooters extraordinary links to Diddy that prove viral conspiracy theory. Trump the real Miami Resort in 2018. Everybody looked at him like, oh, look at this crazy man shooting up the Trump Tower. What is he doing? Everybody reported on this. Everybody reported on this. Let me show you. Everybody reported on this story. calling that man crazy, conspiracy theories. And now look, everything that happened then and that he said proved to be true in the interview. And we're going to listen to a little bit more in the interview because I want you guys to hear the things that he said about Obama in that video. Let's see. I'm also going to show you guys the affidavit, not the affidavit, the NDA that was either leaked or Jonathan Oddie put it out some type of way. But basically, it is the NDA signed by him and P. Diddy, Sean Combs. Back, you'll see. Let's see. Okay, y'all. So here's the affidavit. I'm about to show you guys the affidavit. Like I said, I got this from Tisha Tales, and she been telling us about this forever, and everybody was calling her crazy, and she's spreading false information. All that. She's not. I'm gonna play this a bit.
This is when he
Okay,
was in
so here
his
is
heyday.
the NDA.
This is when Jonathan Oddie was in his heyday. You got the muscles, you got the face, he got that. He looked young and healthy. He was their pet 2012, 2013. However, he claims that Diddy gave him the hurt. And he knew all Diddy's business, okay? Jonathan Oddie on July 9th, 2014, in the state of Florida, the county of Miami-Dade, sworn and subscribed before me on this day, July 2014, by Jonathan Oddie, who was personally known to me and who did not take an oath. We have the notary republic. We blurred that out, but it is a notary republic. We have the seal of the commissioner in the state. This is a confidential settlement agreement. If I draw your attention to the bottom, it says Sean Combs individually and on behalf of Bad Boy Worldwide, Sean John Enterprises, and all affiliated entities and persons, okay, in the state of Florida, sworn and subscribed for to me. Listen, this has been verified by several news organizations that this is the actual NDA that Diddy and Jonathan Oddie signed when Jonathan Oddie sued that man for giving him hurt and for knowing all his business. Yep. You guys, this has confirmed this wild conspiracy theory that started on this channel. Let me just say, if you guys are new to my channel, I am going to be talking about the Diddy situation. I am going to be covering the trial. Please lock in, hit that subscribe. Now listen, really quick, we're going to get into Jonathan Oddie's wife's statement.
Okay. So as I was saying, that is the NDA that was either leaked or, it was put out there. But basically, that was the NDA that he had him sign because he knew that he gave that man hurt and he didn't want his secret out. And that was all the way back in 2014. So here we are 11 years later. 11 years later. Wow. He's just now getting wow. So Jonathan's wife, she came out with a statement because, like I said, he obviously received the money. Our invoice was finalized or whatever. And so she's salty about that. And I want to read what I'm going to do is I'm going to read like her statement, like what she has said. But then I'm also going to show you guys that she's a corrupt lawyer as well. Let's see, let me find. Okay, I know what the statement is. I'm tripping. Okay, so this is what the ex-wife had to say. Okay, well, let me give you a little insight on his ex-wife or whatever. Okay, so Jonathan Oddie was previously married to Tanya Troutwin, an attorney based in Miami, Florida. Their marriage lasted 6 years before ending in August 2014. Following their divorce, Oddie reportedly went on a property buying spree, acquiring 5 distressed properties in Miami-Dade County within 2 months, as that article stated, despite previously claiming to have a negative net worth. Remember, he said he was worth negative $1,800. So there have been rumors suggesting a connection between Oddie's ex-wife and Sean Diddy Combs. And I'm going to show y'all the connection after I read this part. But there are no official records confirming any direct involvement. Some online discussions, speculate, about financial transactions, legal agreements, but these haven't been verified. All this is alleged, but we can piece it together, and I'm going to show you guys. So it says, Jonathan Oddie financial dealings are legal history, and legal history have raised questions, particularly after his 2018 shootout at the Trump National Doral Resort. So his financial turnaround, Oddie went from claiming a negative net worth in August 2014 to receiving 5 distressed properties in Miami-Dade County within 2 months, totaling $765,000, all in cash, all paid in cash. So it says this sudden financial shift has led to speculation about the source of his funds, which now we know because the NDA was released. He had him sign that NDA and he gave him $5 million so he would not expose that he gave him the hurt. Okay, so it's saying the legal issues. Ex-wife Tanya Troutwin was reportedly reprimanded by the Florida State Bar, and I'm going to show y'all those documents, for forging power of attorney to access an elderly man's wealth. So she's trying to steal old people money. So ain't no telling what she been doing in Florida. And we're going to see why Florida is the key name here. Okay, say some theories suggest, that legal problems, maybe have influenced him going into his actual capades, but that don't mean he agreed to be a slave. You know what I'm saying? I understand, people are grown and people can do, what they want to do in their bedroom. But when people say they don't want to do that, people have a right to say they don't want to do that. Like, it's a such thing as going too far. So like I said, he bought those properties, ended up selling them over for $934,000 within 2 years. And of course, like I said, he was making those claims about Trump and Diddy, which we see the claim from Diddy. They've been trying to get Trump and have not been able to. They got him with those fake felonies of basically accounting errors, stuff that he had nothing to do with. They act like they really got him on something real. Like, if it was a regular person like me, that wouldn't even went to court. It's just like they was trying so hard to find something on him, and they were able to use that. But like I said, we're gonna get into what the ex-wife said. And like I said, she said, you know, he started buying all these properties, left me without money, you know, basically like after he claimed, you know, to be broke. But now let me show you her corruption. Yeah, because I got it. I got it. Okay, y'all. So here is that video that I was telling you guys about as far as the dark connection between you know, the freak off sexual worker Jonathan Oddie's ex-wife and P. Diddy. And this deep dive was done over a year ago about her. And like I said, y'all saw where I just read that she was reprimanded. And I'm going to show you those documents where she was reprimanded for doing illegal type stuff. And all of this was happening in Florida. And where did P. Diddy move? Florida. Who else was having properties and stuff and dealings in Florida during that time or recently? TD Jakes. So let's get on into it. And now all of a sudden he's stepping down. Okay. Let's get on into it. But yes, this is the video. I want y'all to listen closely, and then I'm gonna come and talk later after that.
But this is very interesting to me. The location of where this took place, which is, you know, in South Florida, in Miami, is where all of this took place in terms of the tapes and etc. Now, if we look into Jonathan Oddie's ex-wife, who is very interesting, she was a lawyer. Now, she was a lawyer, guys, who was reprimanded. I believe her name was Tonia. She was reprimanded, guys, by the Florida State Bar for forging power of attorney for an elderly, wealthy man to evidently steal his wealth. There is an article also that expresses how Jonathan Oddie went suddenly from broke to buying properties left, right, and center. Evidently, there were a lot of shady dealings going on with him and with his ex-wife, who was a lawyer. As an attorney, there's a lot of shady dealings. But get this, guys, whilst her bar standing is good right now, she isn't the only one. She is not the only one at all. And I feel like, you know, he obviously is not from America. I feel like there was some kind of marriage for a passport. I also feel like the ex-wife could have been, you know, exploiting him or controlling him in some kind of way, considering the fact that she was stealing significant amounts from people and forging stuff. And I believe this was probably the root in how he went into SA, how he ended up in those freak-offs in some kind of way to try to get money.
Okay, so I want to pause it right there so you guys can see. Like I said, this is Jonathan Oddie's ex-wife, you know, Tanya Troutman. So it basically says, so where's, she don't got his last name? She didn't take his last name? I'm confused. Okay, anyway, because obviously this happened in 2015, which would have been after her divorce. So, okay, so it says the Florida bar, which is the complainant. Tanya Marie Troutman is the respondent. So this is a complaint of the Florida bar. The Florida bar complaint files this complaint against Tanya Marie Troutman, respondent, pursuant to Chapter 3 ruling regulating the Florida bar and alleges the following. And we're gonna show you that.
This was probably the root in how he went into SA, how he ended up in those freak-offs in some kind of way to try to get money on his own accord. But this is where it gets interesting. There is an article from a couple of years ago in 2021 that also displays the fact that there are several corrupt
So I want to stop it right there. So as you guys can see, 2015 was when she was reprimanded. So as far as I know, she's back, you know, in good standing. So she probably was disbarred for some years or something like that. But now, as you can see, July 31st of 2021, Thieves, Drunks, and Scoundrels. That's a new shirt. Thieves, Drunks, and Scoundrels. So shout out to scammers, scoundrels, and scallywags. Thieves, Drunks, and Scoundrels. Florida's Bar's Lying Lawyers. August 2021. We know liars. Yeah, we already know. So Florida Supreme Court disciplined 21 attorneys in August 2024, stealing from clients along with alcohol and drug crimes. You know what? Let's listen to this.
Yes. And judges, guys. The Florida Supreme Court in recent court orders disciplined 21 attorneys, disbarring 2, suspending 10, revoking the licenses of 1, and reprimanding 6.
Because I want to make sure we read this. The Florida Supreme Court in recent court orders disciplined 21 attorneys, disbarring 2, suspending 10, revoking the licenses of 1, and reprimanding 6. So when you get reprimanded, what's the difference? That's not a suspension. It's not a revocation. That's a revocation. So what happens when you get reprimanded? And 5 attorneys were placed on probation and 1 was admonished. All these different words mean different things. So revoked, we know their license was took. Okay, suspended mean, okay, suspended and they could come back. Disbarred mean they disbarred, which would be the same as revoked, right? Reprimanding, I got to see what happened to them. And then probation, okay, placed on probation, you can come back. Isn't that like a suspension? And then 1 was admonished. Like, all these words mean the same, most of them. Reprimanded, probation, suspended, the same. Revoked, disbarred, admonished. Like, you know what? Let's just continue.
5 attorneys were placed on probation and 1 was even, admonished. Now, it's not just attorneys, it's also up to the judges, right up to them how corrupt.
Up to the judges. Danielle Butler has rough seas ahead. The Florida Supreme Court suspended Butler, managing partner at the luxury law group in Fort Lauderdale, from the practice of law. After the Maritime attorney pleaded no contest in separate criminal proceedings, and as a result was sentenced to 1 year probation for stealing money from a client. Oh, just 1 year probation? Wow.
They were, and how they were faulty, how they were disciplining people, they were ignoring stuff, they were turning a blind eye. So it's a huge track history of loads of lawyers, judges, the entire legal system showcasing to be very corrupt, so many being disembarred, all in Miami in South Florida. This is how this connects to P. Diddy. Where does he live and reside now? Doesn't live in Harlem, doesn't live in LA. He suddenly moved to Miami in this big mansion, which we saw pictures of him recently, via TMZ when he was looking stressed, post everything. Why is P. Diddy in Miami? Why did he move to South Florida? Why did he move to that area? I believe this is how the SA, the trafficking, the free cops, all of this stuff, he got away with it for so long, because I feel like law enforcement, the police department, the judges, allegedly, I feel like are all turning a blind eye because they're all corrupt from what we can see. The entire system there is significantly corrupt. This is how I believe P. Diddy was getting away with stuff, and why I feel like people were turning a blind eye, and why he chose to be in that location specifically because of what was going on. So I feel like it all connects in that way. Not only that, but guess who just announced in Florida was going to have significant housing development? They announced this on the 13th of December. This could all just be a coincidence, but I find it to be interesting. TD Jakes, guys, just announced new investments in.
Let's pause that. TD Jakes, Real Estate Ventures LLC. TD Jakes at Bishop Jakes on X, thrilled to partner with New Urban. And of course, we see it's in Florida. Now all of a sudden he's stepping down because we know you was at them freak offs. We know you probably was touching on little boys allegedly and all that, but it's anything done happens in the dark will come to light, as we're seeing it come to light.
South Florida, where he's going to be building housing developments. What is going on there, and why have you chosen to go to South Florida, Miami? I feel like it's way too much of a coincidence for P. Diddy to reside there, TD Jakes to do all this stuff there. When it comes to Jonathan Oddie's ex-wife and the fact that she was corrupt, and the fact that there is now is article that is resurfaced of significant level of lawyers who are all corrupt and shady dealings going on, that is the perfect place to do business, where you can do illegal activities and people can turn a blind eye to it and you can get away with things. So this is why I feel like Diddy is there, and this is how it connects to Diddy in such a weird way, where this is why he chose to be in that location.
Right.
Maybe you guys agree, maybe you guys disagree, but I feel like this is a theory, and I wanted to wrap up a deep dive in just 5 to 6 minutes so you guys get this information, and then we head on to the next video. That's just how I like to do it here. Make of this what you will, but I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if this is how the shady things are being done, and how the fact that even the judges are corrupt. It's not just the lawyers who were disbarred and etc. or had their, state bar in trouble and etc. Even up to the judges. Don't you think that these corrupt musicians or people in the industry know that? They know where to go, where to move, where the places are corrupt, and suddenly they place themselves there. I just find it weird that Diddy's also in there. TD Jakes is now suddenly announced to do stuff there. That's where, Jonathan Oddie resided. That's where the ex-wife resided. And the ex-wife was a corrupt lawyer. They're not only the corrupt lawyers, there's a lot more lawyers and judges who are also corrupt. And this creates a perfect vicinity for shady dealing and activities.
To this gentleman, I watch his channel, Morali. Shout out to him. Like I said, he did this a year ago, December 13th, 2023, almost 2 years ago. And here we are today. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting, and putting those pieces together, I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense. So the hotel, the shooter that everybody was calling crazy at the Trump hotel ended up being an ex-slave for P. Diddy, exposing stuff. And now we're going to get back into the interrogation, because like I said, I want y'all to see and listen to what he's saying, not only about P. Diddy, but what he's saying about Obama. And a lot of these things I honestly believe anyway. Like, I believe Michelle is allegedly Michael. And, in one of her videos, the way that she worded something will make you think that she was a trans, but it's just the way that she worded it. But I'm just saying, people can take stuff out of context. But she was just like, she was telling Marlon Wayans how, like, as a trans, I love how you supporting your trans son, especially as a trans. I was like, what? And we'll talk about another video, but now we're gonna get back into the interrogation. Yeah, I'm not gonna read the back into the interrogation. Okay, so back into the interrogation video that we were watching earlier. Pay close attention to what he's saying, and I will stop and start to make sure that you hear some of the things that he is.
Massively more corruption and abuse from their system of friends. Okay. Don is still blind because he thinks that he let Hillary off the hook and she's okay. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm trying. Okay, keep going.
It ain't like the CIA, and then they want to do the same thing that they did to JFK. Okay.
All right.
Why? Because they want the United States to fall. They've already been creating a state of chaos and confusion in the United States. They want the United States to fall. Donald was against their agenda and won the presidency. Okay. He did get.
So did y'all hear that? He said they want America to fail, pretty much. And Donald Trump was against that. And I honestly do believe that. I honestly do believe that Trump wants to make America great again, meaning make our country great. I don't think it has nothing to do with race per se. It has something to do with being an American. All these other countries getting money, getting funded by us, and we're over here struggling. That's what I believe. And I think a lot of these other politicians, Congress people, representatives, whether some are Republican or Democratic, I think they are for other countries. And Donald Trump is more for putting America first. And they didn't like that against Donald Trump. And that's why they tried to come against him with all these bogus charges, because he wasn't going.
The help from Russia. He did get help from the Saudis. He also got help from a lot of Republicans, which is the electoral college vote. And he got a lot of support from Republican people. Okay. The elections, yeah, they weren't fair, but he wanted the electoral college vote.
Right.
Which is the Republican vote, basically, according through, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get the popular vote, okay?
Right. I hear you.
So basically, the interior, he made it. He's president-elect by the electoral college. So he made it. The situation is that he still hasn't kicked out the corruption from the system. He's letting them stay due to money, basically, because they all like making money. That's why they're all billionaires, etc. So there's only there's select few of that run the country. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you may or may not. I know you're gonna believe me. You have what's called the Illuminati.
Illuminati. Okay.
Yeah,
About the Illuminati.
Okay. They've made it in dance. Basically, what it means, illuminated.
Okay.
Okay. They do satanic ritual abuse, which is basically CIA mind programming techniques to their own family, kids.
I hear that, right? Mind programming
And they
techniques.
bond that way. Okay, so they do sexual pedophilia. They do animal abuse, killing of animals, blood sacrifices, and everything in the Bohemian Grove. Okay,
Right.
the Bohemian Grove, the bushes grow there. George C. and George, both of them are in the same agenda. They cousins with the Clintons. Okay, so is Donald Trump. He's also a distant cousin. So if you see, there's a direct correlation of the presence of the United States being bonded between family ties, okay?
Gotcha.
All these family ties, while not go back to the same place, the royal family in England, okay? The family here of the Illuminati are descendants of the royal British family, okay? They have children between themselves. Why? Because they have that issue, you understand? They want like superiority of the race.
Mm-hmm.
They see it that way. But it really it backfires them because it makes them simple minded. You understand? When you have sex with someone in your family, your kids are not gonna come out smart. You understand? They're gonna come out dumb. Alright? So Donald turned his back, but he's still trying to negotiate a peaceful way out, and they have an agenda to kill it. Okay? Example, if you look at the Illuminati card games.
Y'all hear that? They have an agenda
Okay.
to kill Trump.
You look
And
at
how
the
many
game,
times did they
Illuminati-
try to assassinate Donald Trump? How many times? How many times did they try to assassinate Donald Trump? Remember, this was before he won. How many times? So everything that this gentleman has said has been proven true. Let's keep going. I already knew that a lot of presidents are kin way down the line. You know, Kamala is kin to Joe Biden. Y'all didn't know that because she's white. Yeah, her daddy is Jamaican, Irish, nothing to do with black. Jamaica is a country, not a color. But we can talk about that in another video.
Card game.
I'm not familiar with it, so help me understand.
It's a card game
It's a card game.
that tells exactly what their agenda is.
Gotcha.
It's called mental pre-program. That means that you predispose already. Once you play this, your mind is already predisposed at this happening,
Mm-hmm.
and you accepting it. Okay, so they have a picture of Donald dead in that game.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm not crazy. They have the picture of Donald dead, but they also had the Twin Towers. They had everything on there.
Gotcha.
Okay, from A to Z. So it's kind of like a hidden agenda, which they try to make it open to our eyes, but we really don't see it. We're so busy working.
It's kind of like
I want y'all to keep listening. What
hidden
you
in
say about
plain
the
sight.
twin towers?
Exactly.
I think I see what you're saying.
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
And
You
how
know Sean
Osama
Combs?
bin Laden is
Puff
fake,
Daddy.
Yeah.
and it was really
Diddy, whatever he
Obama.
called himself
Yeah.
these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The
The
Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
It's the black people. Okay, I'm from Africa, so I'm not a racist.
Okay.
Okay, you my brother, so I like black people.
Okay.
My mom, I was raised by an African woman in my house. Okay, she was just a servant, but she was my own. She, took care of me.
Right.
So I love black people.
Okay.
Okay. I had settlement with Sean. Okay, and he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous.
Heard
And
him.
that
I
in
had
the
a settlement
contracts,
with
it's
Sean.
his attorneys, which are Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes. Ben Mercedes worked for Bad Boy Entertainment for 4 years and worked for Hillary Rodman for 5. Okay. When I take Sean the threat of death on me, okay? I don't have it, but I can make it available under secrecy. That means that I wouldn't be liable because I don't want to be getting framed for anything. Okay.
All right.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex slave. Okay, for them that's what I was.
You heard him? He was
That's
a
all.
sex
Right. I caught herpes, and I came back and I seen for herpes and won, but they did. Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes were his attorneys. Okay.
Let me rewind that because he said he called herpes and he came back. I want y'all to listen now. Listen now. And it's even right there in the comment, right down there. Let me make it big. Right there. All right. I called. Yeah. Hurt. Hurt. The hurt.
For the reason won, but they did. Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes were his attorneys. Okay. And Christopher Leon's here was my attorney. They asked me to turn in that, which was the video recording, and I did so. They gave it back to me accidentally, and it's possible I threw everything out. It's possible I can produce a copy.
Gotcha.
It's possible. I'm not sure. Now, how does this lead to War Star Trump?
Okay.
The Mercedes family. Ben Mercedes, that works with Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos used to be Michael Jackson's attorney.
Yeah, out in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He drugged Michael and they OD'd him, okay? He didn't overdose. They OD'd him because they keep
You heard
the
that?
royalties.
Michael didn't overdose.
the
They
music.
OD'd him. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Y'all heard that? Yeah. I'm gonna rewind it.
Yeah, he drugged Michael and they OD'd him, okay? He didn't overdose. They OD'd him because they keep the royalties of the music. Michael alone made $860 million alone last year, okay, in 2017, which who keeps that royalty? The music companies. Who represents the media and entertainment in the United States? Most of them, Mercedes does. Kenny Mercedes, which is Gruber Mercedes Shire out of New York. Okay. So what they've been doing is they've been promoting a hate agenda against Trump. So people hate him, okay, because they know he is very alpha, okay, very alpha in the sense that he likes money, he likes to make money, and he likes women, and they know they want to defame in certain ways with Stormy, with other people, because they want him out of the government, okay? But it ain't happening because it's too smart for them. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm trying to, right?
Donald is
Definitely too
intelligent.
smart.
We have a similar type of intelligence and overview of things. The only thing is he's not seeing that Hillary is a distant cousin of his, and Obama have a different plan for him. You understand? No offense with Obama. I love
Y'all hear
each
that?
and every American for
He literally said, did he say Harris and Obama, who are distant cousins of his? I want y'all to pay attention. Or did he say Hillary? Hold up, let's listen.
the only thing is he's not seeing that Hillary is a distant cousin of his.
Hillary.
And Obama have a different plan for him. You understand? No offense with Obama. I love each and every American, but he was part of that 9/11 agenda. He's a CIA agent, an ex-CIA agent. That's why there's so
Obama.
much
We know he wasn't born here.
identity issues with Obama. Who knows his real name? They say what he was born in Indonesia, and he's also born in Hawaii.
In
Nobody
Kenya,
knows
everywhere.
why, because he's an ex-CIA agent.
Okay.
Basically, Osama bin Laden never existed. It was a creation of the CIA, and it was Obama in a cave talking shit and looking like an Arab. And then they bombed Twin Towers. Okay, so my problem is.
Let me rewind it in case y'all didn't hear what he said. Literally, he said Osama bin Laden was fake, made up by the CIA, and Obama was really the one down there in the hole talking stuff, talking sugar, honey, iced tea. Take those first letters, sugar, honey, iced tea, and then they bombed the Twin Towers and want to make us think some planes crashed into it. And I'm going to apologize for the people that lost family members on 9/11, but the government did that to your family members.
To expose each and single one of them to the American public for the crimes committed on September 11th, 2001, and therefore. Okay?
Now tell me though, how all of
Think
that.
about it. Obama didn't become president until 2008 and 2012. So he could have easily been Osama bin Laden in 2001 and 2000. We need to go do some research and see what was he doing back then. Was he in the Senate office? Like, was he being seen or was he not being seen? Because then that would make sense. If he was not being seen, like if he wasn't, because wasn't he a senator or something? Yeah, I'm doing a deep dive on Obama. Candace Owens, we want you to do it. You won't do it. I'm going to do it.
Thursday night, Friday morning.
Well, I've been trying. My settlement put me in a box. Basically, I couldn't talk because I was going to be sued. So I let it be, but they've been following me, and they've had Smart Girl has had the FBI on me, has had other agencies looking at me and spying on me, okay, because they want to set me up as an extortionist, like if I was extorting Sean
Right,
for money.
so they can take the money back.
It's wrong. Basically, what happened is Diddy and Ross, which they're good buddies, okay? They're gay.
Who?
Both Diddy and Ross and Khaled. They all
Diddy,
gay.
Ross, and DJ Khaled.
Rick Ross and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Khaled is a Hamas supporter.
Hamas.
Who supporter?
Hamas.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said the wrong.
No worries.
Hamas supporter. Okay.
Right.
Basically, he's Arab, Palestinian. Okay.
Show no DJ Khaled came up and stole ours. Like he ain't with us. He ain't one of us.
It's basically binge drinking poured out on a yacht. They promote binge drinking and drugs.
Gotcha.
The hip hop agenda was laid out by Obama during his last presidencies purposely. That's why they had Tupac killed. Because when they kill them, you gain fame. When your record sales go up, and then people listen to your lyrics and everything, and then you become famous. Okay, that's how they do it. All right. Tupac's still alive.
Yeah, okay.
He's in Cuba. Basically, what happened is following.
So he said Tupac was still
He
alive
had
and
an agenda to move drugs all over the United States. They move, you need to inform the DEA. They move all the dope, all the dope on private jets, which don't get screened by
customs,
by the inside the United States. Okay, they move what's called high grade powder MDMA. They move cocaine and they move liquid cocaine in the bottles too. Okay, so they put the liquid cocaine in the bottles and they move it. I've seen the liquid cocaine. I've drank it myself. Having sex with Diddy and Cassie. Okay, it's not good. He drinks all the time.
You know what the liquid cocaine is, baby
oil. How do I know there's a conspiracy against Trump? Because it's in the Illuminati card deck. He should look at it for himself.
Let me bring it back to Thursday night, Friday morning.
Sure.
I mean, how did all of this? I think I better understand what you're saying. But what I want to know is, how did that prompt you? How did that make you do what you did that night?
Well, we're getting to a point that his assassination is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it's an agenda they're perpetrating on the media and the news.
Exactly.
Madonna is a client of Mercedes, Ben Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
He has her go on public TV and say, "Oh, someone should." I thought so many times of going up and blowing up the White House.
Gotcha.
Okay, they give her that little message. That little message is Hillary's message. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because Hillary sent it to Gary Ross, and Gary Ross gave it to Mercedes, and they gave it to
Gotcha.
Madonna.
Yeah.
Okay, now
I get all of that.
you're gonna need an internet so I can show you. If I show you the website, you're just gonna go like, "Oh fuck."
All right. Help me understand you.
Sure.
How old are you?
I'm 42. I've been through all my life. I've had a great life. I've settled $4.125 million with Diddy. Okay, but he's scared that I was an exposure.
I don't want to talk about Diddy right now. I want to talk about you. Help me understand you. I mean, who? I don't. Obviously, we never met.
I know.
I don't know you from Adam's
I
Cat.
know.
I'm trying to,
We'll
we'll get back to the
Hey,
I do understand that he was arrested for something that was not pertaining to Diddy. And these officers are saying, well, I don't want to talk about Diddy right now. I want to talk about you. I bet y'all wish y'all really was listening to what he was saying about Diddy and let him go into a little bit more detail, huh? I bet you have a different feelings now. I bet. I'm not gonna play the whole interrogation. If you want to watch it, you know, watch. I'm gonna play a couple of more minutes. But yeah, they tried to assassinate Trump how many times? Like, this man is literally telling us this. Back in 2018, he was telling us this. 2018. This one last year. This was 2018, before the 2020 election.
I got like 30 years ago.
Where you from?
I was born in South Africa.
What town? What city?
Newcastle, the Valley of 1,000 Hills. I'm from Zululand. I'm what you call a Zulu.
Okay.
I was born there, and then my parents were Latin descent from Argentina. They escaped the military dictatorship in Argentina.
Pinochet, all that.
No, the Argentina one. Yeah, my Pinochet was Chile.
Okay.
I can't remember. It was like a military dictatorship. 12 years in South Africa, and I stayed 12 years in Argentina, and then I came here to the United States, and I've been here 20 years since.
Okay.
18 years.
Right, parents. So you got a mother and father?
Dad came and visited me. Died here.
Okay.
Cancer. And mom went back home. I think I'll be visiting with my sister in Europe.
Okay. What year did your father pass away?
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Did that have any effect on you? I mean, what
Not
was
really.
your relationship like with your father?
Well, I suffered a little child abuse when I was a kid.
Okay.
And I believe he's not my real dad, but it's okay, you know.
All right.
Sometimes you know, watch my phone sometimes.
How long have you been thinking about it?
It's easy. That's like
help me understand. I don't.
Well, really,
when you say premeditated, you must have been thinking about it for a while. How long have you been thinking about doing what you did?
Well, when I say premeditated, it means that I went and did it by myself. That's all. And I didn't think about it. Like, basically, out of all the times I went and saw the attorneys, did my research online,
Mm-hmm.
and I found out the whole puzzle of their organization.
Okay. All right. So you didn't tell before.
Is that Ross came and threatened me. at my house. Post-settlement. After we settled, Diddy sent Ross in the house.
You got anybody?
The whole puzzle of their organization.
Okay. All right.
Listen to this.
So you didn't tell, before I ask that question, so you have an ex-wife, you got a girlfriend, you got anybody that you talk to? I'm trying to understand if you got somebody that you interact with on a daily basis.
Yes, I have a good friend, a breakfast buddy. His name is Luis Taylor Gonzalez,
Uh-huh.
and we go to the gym every day. He has nothing to do with what happened Thursday. Though he's a witness, he's gotten shot at by them, and he's a witness that Ross came and threatened me at my house post-settlement. After we settled, Diddy sent Ross and asked me
Rick
that Ross and confirmed his identity.
So Gonzalez, he can back up what you're saying about P. Diddy and Ross and all that? Okay, all right. And you said Gonzalez didn't know anything about what you did? You didn't talk to him before?
Nothing.
Nothing?
He knows nothing. He was actually worried. He's like, hey, what's up? And I told him, look, man, what's happening is he's trying to cool things down, but then the feds have been harassing him. The feds. They have a big file of me like this. Since because P. Diddy and Mark Garibus have been trying to set me up and lock me up as an extortionist, asking for money. It was not so. My settlement was breached, and my settlement terms is one was called peaceful enjoyment. That means that if I went to your house or I did something, you'd actually pay me the full amount.
I get all that.
So I've been going through that since like 2012. So.
All right, and Gonzalez knows about that. You talk to him about that kind of stuff?
I talked to him alone because he's the only one that knows since the beginning. Gotcha. And then my ex-wife, she knows she saw the contract. She has a contract, a picture of the contract. Tell me you need to call her.
See, that is everybody's name.
Okay, all right. Where do you live at? Where's your house?
Really close. 177, just down the road from Trump's. You see, I want you to live close to Trump because I know they don't like being close to Trump. You understand what I'm saying? They don't like that. So that's why I want you Trumps. Okay, all right. You got a roommate? You live alone? Okay, all right. How do you get around? You got a car? Yeah, or something like that? Jeep. It looks like a military Jeep. Okay. Where's that Jeep right now? Police have it in custody. Okay, all right. We'll get back to the Jeep in a minute. Tell me about your employment. What do you do for work right now? Right now, I'm sucking for old minerals. Do you work from home? Do you have a computer? Do you through what? About my work ethics. Okay, previous places I've worked at, we all are very intelligent. I can see that. Yeah. The thing is, you've been fed the wrong foods and medicines which blind you. Okay, most of the pharmaceutical industry is bogus. I agree with you. Yeah. I can tell you right now. They have you popping pills and they poison you slowly so you die. Okay, that's the truth. You don't need any medicine. You're strong. You know what I'm saying? Right. Your body is called. The only way to come out now is called immunotherapy. That's all you need. Vitamins, immunotherapy. That's all you need. All right. About my work ethics. Okay, previous places I worked at. In the United States. Well, do I know all of them? Or? As much as you can tell me. Help me understand. You said you work for Pegasus right now, right? But you throw away all your stuff. Yeah, because it's a family business. It's very simple. It's just like I just need to use Square Cash. Let's go back.
So basically, this is them, just interrogating him, about the shooting and all that. So I'm going to stop that part there and actually stop this video there, because the video basically was mainly about connecting the dots for you guys. If you didn't know that the Trump hotel shooter was also the sex slave of Diddy and Cassie and whatever. And he basically proved that Diddy gave him the herp and that he had him sign an NDA that I showed you guys, the NDA that was released, paid him $5 million. The ex-wife spoke out about the money, claiming, that he, claimed to be broke before the divorce. And then afterwards, he was buying up properties with cash. We know where he now got the money from. And we also know that their ex-wife was also a corrupt lawyer that probably was doing some things with Diddy, there's no telling. And then, Diddy moved up to Miami, TD Jakes opening up properties in Miami, everybody doing illegal things in Miami, the judges, the lawyers, everybody. So yeah, I'm going to end there right there. I'm going to come back with another video, trial day 3 and 4, and we're going to pick up where we left out, but we're going to deep dive into this. And to all the victims, who are telling the truth, prayers to you and that you can get through this. To all the people that are just out there trying to get money, God will take care of you. And no, I'm not saying any names because I don't know who's trying to extort for money or who's actually, who has been abused. But this guy definitely has his information, all his ducks in a row. And P. Diddy, God is going to deal with you as well. So I would like to say thank you guys for watching the video, tuning in, hit the like button if you like the video, leave a comment if you have any additional things you'd like to say, or any, statements or any questions or any more information that you would like for me to go into. Just please let me know in the comments. And I'd like to thank you for watching, and you have a great day. Mom Boss Mayo is signing